What's going on, everybody? Karate Kid Fanatics back here again. Interview 32. We got our special guest, Olivia Crosby from Cobra Kai Season 3. She was like the soccer coach / teacher. How are you doing today?
I am doing very, very well. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So how did you get involved in acting? What made you want to get into the industry?
Well, acting for me, it fell into my lap, I would say.
Yeah.
I was a professional dancer first. I had been dancing since I was 5 years old. I went to school for it, got my BFA in dance performance, toured professionally. And when I moved to Atlanta, I actually joined a musical. And it was a web series. Yeah, it was really cool. It was a web series, Dream the Urban Musical. It was doing really well. But what they wanted to do, and what they did was they made me one of the lead characters. So in that moment, I realized that I had to actually act. And I said, well, let me take some acting. Yeah, let me take some acting classes. Now, I did take some theater classes in college, but it didn't really call me then. But when I started training with Natalia Livingston, I found a love for acting and the craft of acting. I did not know that I would feel as an artist. I didn't know that I would feel that. And so after I took my first acting class, that was, for me, that was it. And I've looked ever since then.
Yeah, so speaking of you being a dancer, was it easier for you to, be able to, not get so nervous in front of, people like that, live audiences when you already had that experience?
Yes, it was actually, I would say, especially coming from a dance theater background, where everything about the artistry and texture and emoting and vision, it was, the craft is so rich. And to have the in-depth understanding of a craft, I will say, no, the nervousness, I won't say the nervousness doesn't happen. The nervousness will happen in any craft you do. I don't care what you do.
Yeah, you're always going to have a little bit, no doubt.
You always look at that. Like they say, I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my, so we're always going to be, nervous before performance. But I would say emoting and just being present in your body and, just there's almost no embarrassment that a lot of people might have when the very first time you try maybe even a simple acting exercise. Just kind of being used to already being in my body, used to expressing myself artistically. So the transition for me was actually pretty easy, and it made me what people consider me to be a natural actor, a natural. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for Cobra Kai, what was your audition process like, if you can remember? I know it's been a while because
it was a while ago, but it was just quick and easy. It was quick and easy for me. Oh wait, that's not true. It was a self-tape audition, and me and one of my best friends were in her basement taping this audition, and of course, there's some technical aspects to auditioning.
Oh yeah.
Camera, and so she was literally, I was reacting to this girl punching a teddy bear. Is what that was. And I'm like, hey, and it was literally the funniest. It was actually really funny. It was high energy. It was funny. The audition was, I will not forget that audition. I can see why they chose me for that, because it was very real. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, so I heard, I can't remember which cast member it was, but that soccer scene, y'all had to shoot it pretty fast, if I can remember right.
Yes. Yeah, I would say yes. They did such a great job, because there was a lot of directional coordination. They had the stunt people there, doing a great job, and the directions were given, and I saw that everybody adjusted very, very quickly. And before you knew it, it was just done. It was definitely it was shot pretty fast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So for season 3, so it was shot in 2019, didn't come out till January 1st. What was that move? I know you weren't in season 1 or 2, but what was that move from YouTube to Netflix for you like?
For me, it was right on time, because my season came out on Netflix, and so it was awesome, because now a lot of people who didn't have the YouTube Red were able to actually tune in, and people were going crazy about it, trying to catch up to season 3, or if they hadn't seen it at all, everybody just binge watched it. So it was great, so that people, your family and friends, don't have to go searching for the show. It's right there on Netflix, and it was just awesome, and it got such a great response. It was like #1 for a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, is there anything that got cut out of you that you can remember, or did pretty much everything make it in?
No, they took the whole scene. Mm-hmm. They
Yeah. So,
took the
what was
whole.
your yeah? What was your favorite part about filming, that sequence?
That's well, I will say there was actually a lot to enjoy. At the time, I had just had my baby. I was like maybe like 5 months postpartum, and I'm
Oh
like on
wow, yeah,
slept in like at least like 7. I mean, I hadn't slept at all. Like my
yeah,
baby was sleeping
yeah.
through the
Oh
night.
yeah, keep you up all night. Absolutely. Yeah,
Like here we are on set, and I'm so excited. And it's like I'm trying to just keep my eyes
yeah,
open,
yeah,
but it's so cool. The directors were great. And I think even for me, like I said, as a brand new mom, this was my very first. This was my very first production just after my child. And I would say for me, just being able to just kind of channel a different kind of energy, that was cool for me. Just pushing through. Um, and also, being able to just kind of work with the kids. They were just so fun. It's just so they were
yeah,
really, really fun, really, really nice. And I also met some people on set that I still keep in touch with. And I just think, that's always necessary. But
yeah,
it was honestly that I will say that that production was such a fun time working on. It was very fun.
yeah. Well, you
Very, very
didn't know at the time, but your first production after your kid was the #1 show on Netflix, so that's not too bad there.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah. So, is there any like when it comes to acting, what brings you the most joy of being an actor or an actress in the industry?
the process the process of breaking down a script,
Yeah,
creating a character, that process is really the best part. And then when you get on
yeah,
set and you perform it, you just let it all go, and that's great. But it's the creating.
yeah.
It's the creating, and that's where all to me, that's where all the fun is in the creating. And of course, when you're there, you kind of just get to just do your thing and have a good time. But for me as an actor, I'll always choose the process. Always.
Yeah. Yeah, what's your dream role, whether it's a type of character or type of movie that you'd like to be in?
Well, that's a good question. I want to continue. I actually just shot my first action film,
Oh
but
wow. Yeah.
continue down that lane. We literally just wrapped an action movie for the Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
So it's honestly it's my first action film, but it makes sense. I'm that I kind of come across as that shiro, and
Oh
I
yeah.
yeah I do, and I usually everything I do is powerful matriarch, in charge, intense, very,
Yeah.
I usually play people who are very intense or have a little edge to what
Yeah.
might seem to be their innocent character, but they're not. So I definitely, so yeah, for me, my dream would be action, action, action. I want guns,
Oh yeah, all that cool stuff.
I
Yeah.
want to kick some booty. So that's that's my
Yeah.
dream. Hmm. And
Speaking
I
on
and
that,
I
yeah.
finally got my first, step through that door, and that's probably where I'll be. So
Yeah, speaking on that, what's some of the differences on set? Because with COVID, I'm sure everything, there's a lot of precautions having to be took, with the pandemic going on.
yeah, that's a lot. And everybody does their precautions very different. I know some people who had to live in a bubble
Yeah.
for a while. They couldn't go home. They had to stay on set for weeks while they were filming. They couldn't leave.
Word.
um, you definitely have to get tested before. If you're
Yeah.
doing maybe a co-star role, kind of popping in, you do have to quarantine for 10 days before you come on set, and then you have to test negative before you come on.
Yeah.
If that make, or is it that I think you test negative and then you quarantine, and you might test again. I'm not sure what that is. But for
Yeah.
everything else, we even had on-site COVID testing. Yeah, so that's kind of what
Yeah.
that is right now. Everybody's like staying away from each other, but when it comes time to get the work done, you
Yeah.
just
You
kind of
gotta do what you
got
gotta
to
do.
get it done. Hmm.
Yeah. So with when did it start the film industry for you start picking back up? Because I know with COVID it was shut down for about 6 to 10 months there.
It
So
was. It was. I would honestly, I started auditioning a lot, maybe just a few months ago.
Yeah.
Maybe just a few months ago is when, we all just started auditioning a lot. So people are starting to work again. So
Right. Yeah.
with that being said, just like I just shot my first film since the pandemic,
Yeah.
but that's pretty timely. There's, I would say within the past 2.5 months is when everybody's starting to get their work. It's really rolling in right now. Almost everybody is shooting. And I even hear the theaters will be opening soon. So
Yeah.
we're getting
Absolutely.
back there.
Yeah. So speaking of the pandemic, what's some like have you picked up any new hobbies while being at home so often?
I never got to quarantine like everybody else.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
never happened for me. I think I sat home for about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I couldn't, I work I
Yeah.
also
I
work
have to
in
be
the health
outside or
field.
something. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I also work in the health field, so it didn't stop, and it still hasn't stopped.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think that I don't even know what I've done. Like, everybody has picked up all these new hobbies, like basket
Yeah.
weaving and doing all these fun things. I'm just trying
Yeah.
to, just trying to stay safe out here in these COVID streets. I haven't.
Yeah. What was it like to work on the cleansing of Lake Lanier?
Oh wow! Now that that project was a while ago. It was an independent project. We actually had to go down. We actually went down to the lake, to Lake
Oh
Lanier.
wow. Yeah.
Played like like a majestic spirit character, and that's to no surprise either. I usually play somebody's mom or some kind of spirit. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it was actually really, really interesting because there this script in particular was really interesting because it wasn't much of a script. It was more of a bone structure. And so
Okay.
there
Yeah.
was a lot of improvisation.
Oh
So a lot
yeah.
of it was improv, and it was a beautiful process. It really was. That was a beautiful process. And that was in the beginning of when I was really um starting to kind of move around, the acting
Yeah.
field in independent areas and all of that. Um, so that was probably my first time doing something with just a bone structure and being confident enough to let whatever's coming out of your intuition just flow through your mouth and just be in
Yeah.
character. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like I'm not gonna put words in your mouth, but I feel like it'd be kind of nice to be able to improv because I feel like sometimes on these bigger sets, it's strictly script. You can't improvise anything.
And that's what they say, but you'd be surprised. You gotta put something in there every once in a while. You can't be scared. They appreciate it
Yeah,
sometimes, as long as you don't go too far off the script. But with this one, it was kind of cool because there really was just a bone structure. So I haven't
yeah.
experienced that.
So if you could be in any movie all time, it can be 100 years ago. What would it be?
Oh boy. Wow. If I could be in any movie, I feel like I would like to be in Black Panther.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
As crazy as that sounds, I'm like, yeah, I want to be in Black Panther. Or, whenever they make a movie about Storm,
yeah,
like, yeah, something
something
like
like
that.
that. They
Yeah,
shoot a lot. I don't know if you're an Atlanta actor, but they shoot a lot of that stuff out in Atlanta.
they do shoot it. Yes, they shoot
So
a lot. Hmm.
Marvel's real big out there, and they're. I mean, they got so much stuff going on now. It's
They have
crazy.
so much, and it's going to keep on coming.
They're
There's no,
coming out with another Black Panther movie, I think. That's what I
which is,
heard. I think they're coming out with another Black Panther movie,
yes, they are.
Black Panther 2. I'm interested to see how that goes.
I want to see how that goes too.
I don't think they'd put out anything that ain't going to be top of the
I,
class, but
I think they know better.
yeah,
They keep on trying to kind of throw some things out there to see how people are going to respond. And
yeah, yeah,
no, especially with replacing Chadwick Boseman, it's like, no, but if you're going to do that, you better do it right.
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
If you're going to do it right, or feel the wrath.
yeah. So for you, what's your favorite project that you've got to work on so far?
Oh man, my favorite project that I've gotten to work on so far. Believe it or not, it was a short film that I did, and it was just it was very rich. It was a short film called Goddess, and I played
Yeah,
a mother figure called Gaia, which is mother, almost like Mother Earth.
yeah,
But it was intense. It was very intense, and the script was so beautifully written. You could see the colors You know,
Yeah,
you could feel it. For it to be something just like a short film, it was beautiful. It had a lot of like spiritual history in there if you really understood what was there. And it was magical. I'm not gonna lie. I say that was a magical production to work on.
Yeah, so for you as an actor or an actress, do you prefer to shoot film or TV?
Film.
Film. Yeah.
Film. You have more freedom in film. Television is so structured. Like you were talking about the improv and talking. It's so structured. You don't have a lot of wiggle room. But with film, you can really dig in and really create a character.
Yeah.
And that goes back to my love of the process. And that's not, and like I said, with TV, it's so structured because they have such a long way to go, and you don't want to deviate from the character by making the wrong choices. But with film, they're a little more open to whatever you bring to the table, and that's fun.
Yeah. I feel like from like what I've heard from a lot of the actors, you know, movies are a lot more slower and TV's a lot more fast paced too. So there's not as much time to, you know, sit there and try to think through things.
No, you're right. That's very right.
Yeah. So last question, what is your like say 10 years from now, what's your next goal you want to achieve, you know, in acting?
Honestly, even beyond just acting, I would love to continue going forward with that, you know, and doing all the jobs that I can do. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But having a performing arts center is something that I see.
Wow. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
That, you know, just all around performing arts is something that I could see myself doing outside of just the roles. I think those are always great because you learn and you can gain some credibility. Don't get me wrong. I think that's wonderful. But I've always taught, and I want to continue to give that back.
Yeah, have a good impact on everyone. Yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for coming on today. It's great to be able to speak with you.
Yes, thank you for having me. This was fun.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Bye.
See ya.